Yeah.
Hey, what up, ballers and ballettes? This is Ashley. I'll be balling with my main man, Kyle. Welcome to the I Be Ballin' Basketball Show. We're going to discuss NBA trades and we're going to recap the All Star weekend. Now, um, it was a big month of February. Some big trades happened earlier, but let's talk about um a big trade. We're Bucks fans, right? We're big Bucks fans, and there was a big trade. Pat Beverly from the 76ers, we got him. And we traded a second round pick, uh, and we traded campaign. What are your thoughts, Kyle, on that trade?
Yeah, I think it really just comes down to fit, which individual player fit the Bucks' biggest need, which was bench stability, which was perimeter defense, and just, um, yeah, I think Beverly, fits that really to a T, and that's really what the Bucks were looking for. Shout out campaign. I thought he still did a very admirable, good job for us, for what we were expecting from him and, what we were asking, him to do. It's, nothing personal. It's just trying to get our bench stronger, get more perimeter defense in, which the Bucks very desperately needed. And they needed not just perimeter defense, but a veteran like Beverly who can be a reliable player for down the stretch run of the season and hopefully in the playoffs for us. So shout out campaign. Wish him nothing but the best for him, and he's gonna get his opportunity to play in Philadelphia. So he's had a couple decent games for them so far since he's been there. So that's good to see. And then just moreover, like Patrick Beverly has, a good relationship with Doc. He knows Doc's system real well, and the two of them are pretty close. So Beverly's kind of like another extension of Doc Rivers and an extension of the coaching staff to be there to help the Bucks through this transitional time, where we're transitioning from one coaching staff to another. So it's good to have another like voice, that is going to be communicative out there and get the guys right in the right spots where they need to be. And he's the type of player that I think the Bucks have really needed, somebody who kind of provides the edge, holds people accountable, and he's not afraid to bark up any tree and do what it takes.
He's a dog.
He's a dog, that's right. So hopefully he can be like PJ Tucker was for us in our playoff run in 2021. That's the hope. That's the best case scenario that we as Bucks fans can hope for. That he has that big of an impact and he can make that big of a difference. So it's going to take him a little while, of course, to get settled in and him to get used to his new team and his new teammates and everything. So hopefully everybody kind of understands that. We'll have some patience here with that, and the goal is for everybody to start showing some defensive progress before the playoffs can start, and hopefully we can all get on the same page there. And I think we've already seen some positive glimpses of some change and some improvement, at least speaking defensively, since we've made the coaching change with Doc Rivers coming in. The offense has sputtered a little bit, which, I'm not too worried about necessarily, because I think the Bucks offense, once we get healthy and once Middleton comes back and we've got more, more familiarity with Doc's system and everything, I think the offense will be there. So really what you were looking for most when you made the coaching change, when you made the trade for Pat Bev was you wanted to see the defense improve, and so far I believe it has. I believe in the 10 games the Bucks have had with Doc coaching, we are now somewhere in the top 10 for defensive ratings overall, like in those games. So that's extremely positive. I think with Griffin through the first 43 games, we were like 21st or 22nd, or maybe even worse than that, honestly. Might have been worse than that. So that's really what you wanted to see. So happy for the trade. And yeah, just looking forward to watching Pat Bev in Milwaukee. So he's an interesting, fun guy. He's interesting. I know he has his own podcast, so I've listened to a little bit of that. A few of his podcasts. He was doing a podcast live when he got traded, so that was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
So he's a cool dude. And also, so we covered that trade. Since the news is also official now, do you want to maybe cover the Gallinari signing as well?
Oh, sure, for sure, for sure. We had an open spot in Gallinari. We got Gallinari, and I think he provides more size, more shooting. So talk about that trade. I feel like you covered every point about the Pat Bev. I second everything. You know, he's a POA, Mister, um,
Point of
94
attack.
feet. Yeah, and
Yeah, for those
I
who might not.
love his personality, and you covered every point. Yo, my main man Cal, he got that basketball IQ. It's really high. It's real high. So let talk about your thoughts about Gallinari. That's what I'm gonna keep saying. Not Gallinari. Gallinari. That's how I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, I've been calling him Gallo a lot because it's kind of his nickname a little bit,
Oh,
but
Gallo. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's been around a very long time. Started his career with the Knicks. He is also played under Doc with the Clippers. Had one of his better years of his career. Um, I, bel I believe Gallinari and Pat Bev were both on the same team under Doc in LA, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they were. So those two
It's
know each
funny.
other. Gallo's Doc.
So the Pat Bev, his podcast was the one that said Gallinari is signing with the Clippers or the Bucks, and I thought that was funny because Pat Bev is the one that broke that news that he was coming to the
Yeah.
Clippers or the Bucks, and he broke his own trade. So I thought that was interesting. Go on.
Oh yeah, no, that is pretty funny. So yeah, I mean those two guys know each other, Pat Bev, and Gallinari. And Gallinari should be familiar also with Doc Rivers' system, so hopefully that is similar in terms of transitioning to a new team and transitioning to a new coaching staff. I'm sure Gallinari is going to be super excited to play for a contending team with veteran players and everything. I know this season Gallinari has been with the Wizards and with the Pistons, and no offense to those teams, but it must be like heaven getting away from there. Um,
Oh
for
God,
so like it's a lot different going from the Wizards and Pistons to coming to a team with higher expectations, like
that's
the
true.
Bucks. Um, so he's just a smart player, can shoot the ball well. I'm not super familiar with his like rebounding or defensive abilities. My guess is he's a little like Ersan Ilyasova, maybe a little bit. Um, I think he maybe takes charges sometimes. I'm not totally sure on that, but or he could be more along the lines of Mirotic, who we had in Milwaukee also. So I don't know who he's closer to. I'm not as familiar with his defense or what that's like per se, but as long as he's on the court with Giannis or with Brooke, it doesn't really matter. Like as long as there's a defender to kind of help him along the way, and play side by side with him under the basket. Was a little surprised that he did ultimately choose Milwaukee, because I thought maybe he would potentially go to a team where his role was a little bit more clear. In Milwaukee, I'm a little curious what his role is, because we have Bobby, we have Giannis, like we have Brooke. Like, when is he going to play? How much is he going to play? What can he give us? Is it going to be a thing where like we, kind of go to Bobby first, and maybe if Bobby doesn't have it that game or that day, then we'll roll with Gallinari, or how will it work exactly, or will it be more so along the lines of if Giannis misses a couple games down the stretch to kind of rest for the playoffs, Gallo plays in those games to give Giannis a rest, because he's played a lot this season. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it or thinking too deeply. It's more of like a move that you just want to have, more depth. And ultimately, we waived Robin Lopez to sign Gallinari, kind of. So it's like you replaced Robin Lopez with Gallinari. So I do believe that was an upgrade that's, it's worth making. And also the buyout market, Gallinari was probably the best player available that fit what the Bucks were looking for, in terms of being a veteran guy, in terms of having experience, in terms of being able to contribute right away, contribute for Doc under his system. So, I mean, I know a lot of people wanted to look at some more like perimeter defense possibly with the buyout market, but that really wasn't like available from what I kind of saw. So, you can't make, something appear out of the thin air. It's got to be. So,
I feel like we are the winners of the trade deadline. Getting Pat Bev and Gallinari was big. I do wish that we made another trade for like a wing defender, but ultimately, maybe Horst didn't, see anything that he liked, or it's like we already made a big coaching change, so you don't want to make too many trades, right? So that's the only thing I probably would have liked if there was another trade with the Pat Bev trade where we had two defenders. But ultimately, I think I'll give it an A, and I think we won. So let's go to the Knicks, because a lot of people are like, the Knicks have upgraded. Obviously, they got OG earlier in the season. The trade that they got, I'm gonna say Bondevich.
oh my goodness, Ashley, what?
Is that better? They got, okay, I'm just gonna say Boban. No, not Boban. Bojan.
I think you need to step in here, Ashley.
Okay, step in who the Knicks got. I
uh,
can't pronounce it.
Boyan.
Okay, got it.
Boyan Bogdanovic.
Perfect. From the
Boy.
Knicks, and they got Alec Burks too. And the Pistons pretty much got Quentin Grimes. They got Ryan.
Come on, in. You've been around long enough. You've been around long enough. Boyan's been around.
Fournier. That's a good one.
Got that one right. Good job.
Malachi Flynn. I'm just gonna call him Triple B. Triple B was a good get for the Knicks, I feel. They got more depth, more shooting, another score. They just got to figure out how they're going to play all these guys. Alec Burke is a nice, good vet that can shoot it. What are your, thoughts on this?
They're good trades. Kendrick Perkins says it puts the Knicks in the finals. I don't quite see that or agree with that. They're good trades, they're solid moves, but I don't think they're that level of difference makers for a team like the Knicks. You know, they're guys who can help for sure. Well, the other question with the Knicks is like, Tom Thibodeau is their coach, and he's notorious for playing his starters like 40 plus minutes and playing them a lot of minutes. So, you referenced how are they going to play these people, or what type of minutes are they going to get? Well, I would have to share the same thoughts because with Thibodeau as your coach, like, where are those minutes coming from? So I don't really know what their plan is going to be there, because they have a lot of wings. Like, they have a lot of depth at the wing position with OG Anunoby now, who he came over at the trade deadline, he came before the trade deadline, like a few weeks before the actual deadline. So he kind of counts as a trade deadline acquisition. And then you have Josh Hart. They have OG Anunoby. They have Dante DiVincenzo, former Buck. They have Brunson. Now they have Alec Burks. Now they have Bojan Bogdanovic. Like, it's just a lot. Like, I just named like a lot of people. So I don't really know. It's good to have, depth for the regular season, but they're going to have to figure out like a rotation that they want to stick with and go with as we head like closer to playoff time, because you don't want guys to not know their role 100% when you get to the playoffs, or you don't want to try to play too many people when you're going into the playoffs. Like, the playoffs are more so about trimming your playing rotation to 8 or 9 guys at most. You're not trying to play 10, 11, 12 people or something in a playoff game. Like, coaches aren't really about that. So that's not really, something you see normally. So we'll see what they do. It definitely helps them. It's a good move. It depends on how you look at it too, I guess, because Grimes was a really young player kind of, and, a lot of people felt like he had potential. So it's like you're losing future potential for win now help in the present. So it's like, if Grimes becomes a good player and, the players they traded for don't really stay there, well, then later on the trade might not help you as much. So, there's lots of different factors and, ways of looking at it. But in terms of just getting some good veteran players that can, help as they head towards the playoffs and, their experience. So the players they got will definitely help them. So solid move. I'd give the Bucks and the Knicks both like a B+ grades, I guess, for the trade deadlines. Not necessarily an A per se, but not bad. So B+ grades.
Yeah, for sure. I agree that the Knicks are around a B. We'll see if the Grimes turns out to be anything. They definitely are win now. The Knicks, they traded RJ and Quickly. Those are young guys.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not too sold per se on the Knicks. They're just a team that has to show me something, I guess. Just
That's true.
A little something, because Julius Randle's never really been a great playoff player. So they have some Jalen Brunson. I'm not sure if he's ever even played in a playoff game. Maybe he has, but
Jalen Brunson? Yeah, he has. Yeah.
Mind, because he played with the Mavericks in the bubble when I think they were in the second round, I believe. Yeah, okay. I forgot about that. Yeah,
and,
okay.
Last year with the Knicks, he did pretty good.
Was Brunson there last year with the Knicks?
Yeah, he was.
I thought this was his first year there. Oh.
No, it's his second.
Oh, okay. You got me on something, Ashley.
Yeah.
I was wrong on something.
It's not gonna. It's not. That's a one. It's in the blue moon. It's an anomaly.
Stephen Curry misses a free throw. It happens.
Exactly. It happens. It happens. So let's talk about the Mavs. I think the Mavs did a great job. The Mavs got PJ Washington. They traded Grant Williams. I heard he was getting on people's nerves. I'm so glad the Bucks didn't have him. They also traded Seth Curry. I really like Curry. I really like Seth Curry. And a first round draft pick. They also made a trade with the Wizards to get Gafford. They traded a first round pick with Rakan Holmes. So I think this was an upgrade from what they have. I think Gafford is going to provide some rim protection, more athletic. Also, PJ Tucker, he's a nice scorer. You know,
You say you mean PJ Washington?
yeah, PJ Washington. Yeah, he's pretty. They're both good young players, good young bigs. I think if Grant Williams was having trouble, he wasn't really playing that well. And also, I heard like he was bothering people and getting up people's
That's,
nerves.
I guess that's what the word is.
Yeah, so it's more so getting rid of a problem as well. So that's good. But I do like Seth Curry. He's a great shooter. But it's cool that Seth Curry plays with the Hornets now, and Del Curry is he used to play for them, and also he's a commentator for them, so that's cool. What's your grades for the Hornets and the Mavs?
Um, from the Mavericks perspective, it'd be a high grade, B plus slash maybe A minus, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they upgraded. I think they Daniel Gafford. I really like him because I think he's a really good like athletic big, like you mentioned. He's going to be a really good pairing with Luka, with like being a lob threat and just rebounding, running the floor, being active. He can defend, he can rebound, he can jump. He can throw it down. So I think you've already kind of seen in a few games him and Luka have been a pretty good pairing. So I think that was a really good move for the Mavericks. And then getting PJ Washington, he seems like a guy who has a lot of potential and talent, but maybe just needed a change of scenery and just maybe needed to get out of Charlotte possibly. So him
Yeah.
a chance to be on a different team will probably help him a lot. So he's got potential for sure. And then the Mavericks didn't really give up a whole lot necessarily to get those guys. Like you said, they got rid of Grant Williams or traded him, who can be a very effective player, but obviously, like personality-wise, wasn't fitting along in that locker room or wasn't fitting along with the group. So kind of like addition by subtraction, for them in that regard. I I'll say I could have possibly maybe eventually, gotten around to rooting for him if he would have become a Buck, but it definitely would have taken some time. There were some trade rumors about him potentially being traded to the Bucks, and I already was getting like a lot of text messages from friends, and people are like, "Oh my God, like no, Grant Williams, what are we doing? Don't do this." And
I don't know what that was.
I'm just like, oh boy, like. In some ways, though, I kind of see it as the Bucks kind of looked at him as maybe like a young version of PJ Tucker who could like help us possibly. So I can kind of see it. I could see a way that he could have helped the Bucks, but I don't know about like the personality stuff or the stuff in the locker room or off the court or whatever was going on. So maybe that wouldn't have been a good mix to bring in for the Bucks locker room. Who knows? Like maybe it just was, he just needs a change of scenery too, but I don't know. All in all, it's a little funny that he went from like, the Celtics as a major contending team to then he went to the Mavericks, who are like kind of a contending team, but not as much as the Celtics. And then he went from them all the way to the Hornets, who aren't a contending team at all. So it's like, Grant Williams keeps, going down a level until he got all the way to the basement.
Wow.
So
Gotta appreciate where you are.
now he's in the basement in Charlotte. So and the Bucks play the Hornets, twice, back to back, coming back from the All-Star break. So hopefully Giannis can dunk on Grant Williams a few times. So that'll make me happy if that happens.
That'd be cool. And we must win, man. But
and also that it's pretty cool that Seth Curry gets to be on the Hornets because his father is the broadcaster or broadcasts their games, or I don't know if he does every game or if he just does some of the games. I'm not sure on that.
I'm not sure.
It's really neat.
But yeah.
Shout out to him.
Yeah. I've always liked Seth. Ever since Duke. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Always having to live in his brother's shadow, but he's a good player in his own right.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he was really good. When his first stint with the Mavs, he was really good. When he was with the Blazers, he was good. So yeah.
He's been on a lot of teams, but he's stuck around for a pretty long career. So that's real cool for him.
Yeah, it's also good when they start from the G League and they work their way up, and it's good stories. Kind of like Gary Payton. I like him. Yeah, he's on a lot of teams, and
GP2.
Yep. Oh. Yeah, I like him. So,
are we going to talk about the Sixers trading for Buddy?
Yeah, that was my next trade. It's like you read my mind. Yeah, the 76ers. Huh?
Great minds think alike. You and I, we're just we're in sync. We're like Chris and Giannis.
I know.
That's on the court.
Lob. So the 76ers, they got Buddy. The Pacers got Marcus Morris and 3 seconds. They also got Korkmaz.
Furkan Korkmaz?
Yeah.
Didn't that guy demand a trade or something? That's pretty wild.
He actually been wanting to get out of Philly for years. They just never did it. And now they finally did it. He's been wanting to get out for a while.
Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah.
The funnier trade demands.
Yeah.
It's always funny when a 10th man on a team demands a trade. It's it's funny.
Yeah, it's dude, who do you think you are? Buddy, I really like him. He's a sharpshooter, one of the best shooters in the game. I think that helps the 76ers. I don't even know why they traded Pat Bev, honestly. I think they would have worked well together. But
yeah, that surprised me, why the Sixers were willing to do that.
Yeah, I know they have Kyle Lowry now, but still, that was a buyout market thing. So yeah, I don't know why.
Oh, that's right. They got Kyle Lowry, didn't they?
Was he a buyout or was he traded?
Lowry was a buyout.
Yeah, buyout. So yeah, I don't know. Let's ask Daryl Morey. I don't know.
Maybe that's why. Well, I think Kyle Lowry's from that area, so maybe they just wanted a homecoming.
Yeah, homecoming. So yeah, I give the 76ers definitely A for this trade. Pacers, it's I don't know why they traded Buddy. Maybe because I know they, huh?
Yeah, I'm not too sure either from the Pacers' perspective.
Yeah.
Of trading.
The only thing I can. Oh, you can go.
Yeah. Well, I'm Buddy's role changed a lot. It seemed with the Pacers. For me, following them from afar, sometimes he would start, sometimes he wouldn't. Sometimes he would play a lot, sometimes he wouldn't. So it was always confusing to me. I never really understood what his role was in Indiana or how they were using him, I guess. Like, so maybe they just wanted to move on from him, I guess. I don't know.
I wonder if it's contract reasons, because I know the Pacers are trying to get like a big free agent, so maybe they was trying to get some expirings, because I think Morris isn't expiring, so maybe that could be it, trying to clear some more space.
And then they also traded for Siakam, so maybe like, with Siakam there, maybe you don't need Buddy Hield's offense as much when you have a player like Siakam. Maybe they were too like redundant, kind of. I don't know.
It could be. I'm about to look up the contracts. You can still keep going.
No, for the Sixers, it's a good trade. If Embiid can come back at whatever point and be healthy, that's adding more shooting around him with a player like Hield, and then bringing in Kyle Lowry, then those two make the Sixers more dangerous around Embiid, because you throw it down to Embiid in the post and you either double him or he tries to score on whoever, or he kicks it out, for Buddy or for Kyle Lowry for a three, and now you got a pick your poison battle situation going on there. Then so for the defense, so it's a good move for them to bring those guys in. Lowry is obviously a great veteran player who's been around forever, so he always annoys Bucks fans seemingly in the playoffs because he gets hot at the right time and takes a million bogus charges or whatever on our players. But some of them are legit, some of them aren't. But it's annoying.
Yeah, come on, refs. Replace the refs with robots. Seriously, man.
And the all-star judges have to be replaced with robots, which we can get into when we talk about the all-star weekend festivities.
Yeah. We could definitely get into that, because that is just, oh my goodness. But
how about replacing everybody with robots, Ashley? Even
not
Giannis.
everybody. Just the judges and refs, the people that control outcomes. Yeah.
And the people that work in the NBA referee office in Secaucus, New Jersey, they can be robots too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So do we cover every major trade just about?
Do you want to talk about how Gordon Hayward affects the Thunder, because he got traded to the Thunder? They traded Trey Mann and Davis Bertans.
Oh, Davis Bertans.
Yeah. You want to talk about that? Or, you don't see Hayward doing that much?
That's a solid trade for OKC. Just getting another veteran player to kind of help lead their young group. He brings consistency, stability, maybe off the bench. He's just a guy who's a vet, and they need some stability with a really young team that they're extremely good. They're extremely talented. They're really amazing, honestly. They're way ahead of schedule of where anyone thought they would be with their rebuilding process, and they're just doing so well. But I think for their perspective, they just want another vet who's been around, who can help out in the playoffs and just be another, lead by example guy for some of their younger guys. So I think it's a good trade for the Thunder. For the Hornets, came from Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for them, it was kind of like Hayward just doesn't really make sense there, since they're like a super young and rebuilding team, and let's be honest, they're not very good. So it didn't really make sense.
Win-win.
Yeah, both teams, win with that type of trade.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that the Pacers, they traded Marcus Morris for Doug, the shooter, Doug McBuckets. Doug.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they got another shooter to replace Buddy Hield.
Doug McDermott previously in Indiana before another year.
I
I
feel
think.
like he was before he
Yeah,
went to the Spurs.
I think he's returning to Indiana now for a second go around.
Yeah. So I think that's a good trade as far as replacing Buddy Hield, you know.
Oh.
Also, Spencer Dinwiddie winded up with the Lakers after he was traded to, the Raptors. And then there was a buyout. The Nets got Schroeder, that young. They just fired their coach. They need to rebuild, honestly.
I agree. That trade didn't really make a whole lot of sense. Dennis Schroeder going.
Yeah.
Like, what's their plan with that? I
I don't understand that trade. It wasn't like a big, giant trade. I feel like we covered mostly every trade that was like big and important.
What happened left? Like, did any major trades happen in the West? Oh, I remembered one that we hadn't talked about. The Suns traded.
Oh yeah, Royce O'Neal. Yeah.
Okay. And the Suns also traded for somebody else.
David Roddy.
David Roddy of the Grizzlies, yeah. No, I thought that was a really, really good move for Phoenix, actually, because they didn't really give up much at all. I think they just gave up Utah Watanabe and maybe something else. But, like, getting Royce O'Neal was a really good move for their bench, I think. He's a guy who can, help be a perimeter defender. He hits threes at a really strong clip. He's a solid defender, I think, from what I've kind of seen. So I think that's a really great move for Phoenix. That really helped their bench, and they didn't really give up much to get two guys in that can be bench contributors for them.
Also, also he played with KD before, obviously, so that helps some chemistry. That's actually a guy that I thought the Bucks would be good with as well.
I would have liked him. I would have liked him, but oh well, Ashley, we can't have everything.
We can't. How much help does Giannis need? No, I sweat.
I was thinking more along the lines of like us being like these spoiled kids at Christmas or something. Like, we can't get every present that we want.
Yeah, that's just what people say in the comments. They be like, "How much help does LeBron need?" or something like that, like joking wise. But
every
Wolves.
Great player needs help today, that's for sure, because the league is stacked with talent.
Yep, it's all around. It's all around. Like, I have no idea who's gonna win it all, but hopefully it's the Bucks. The Wolves got Monty Morris, and I think that helps with the backup role. Let's see. They traded Troy Brown, huh?
Oh, sorry, I was going to reference a different trade, but you can go on with the Timberwolves move.
Oh, so the Pistons got Shake Milton and Troy Brown Jr. second round pick. I think that's pretty good for Monte Morris. He's a good backup PG. So I give that an A.
Can I please just say, like, what on earth is going on in Detroit? Like, why are they getting these veteran, like, players at the trade deadline? Does that franchise have any idea, like, what they're doing? It's just, I don't understand it. Like, you should be rebuilding and, like, selling off all your vets. Although I guess you could say they did do that with Bogdanovich and Burks that they traded, but I don't know. It just seems. But then they traded for what? Didn't they get like Mike Muscala and like somebody else? I don't know. The team doesn't really make much sense.
And Killian Hayes, he asked for a
Oh yeah,
trade.
No, I think they bought out his contract. Killian Hayes was waived. It wasn't a trade.
Yeah, he asked for a trade, but it didn't happen.
Oh, oh, I see what
Yeah.
you meant.
Yeah.
There was another move. Oh no, for the I'll expand upon what you said with the Timberwolves. Monte Morris is a good pickup for the Timberwolves for sure. He can help with them. He's a very steady point guard. Played with Jokic in Denver. He'll help. And there was another move where the Wizards bought out DeLon Wright's contract, and then he is going to be signing with the Heat.
Oh, that's a nice pickup for them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, DeLon Wright, Miami. I was kind of thinking he might end up with the Bucks possibly in a trade at one point because I know I told you to like maybe look out for that name because that
Yeah.
was a name hot on the market. So
Yeah.
DeLon Wright, other Darrell Wright played for the Miami Heat.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah.
That's interesting. So I think we pretty much covered all the main moves and
Yeah,
all the
the main ones. Yeah. The main ones we covered. It wasn't like a big splash because I think all the other splashes were made in the summer or like earlier before the trade deadline. So let's go to the All-Star weekend. There was a ton of events. We're gonna talk about our favorite ones, what needs fixing. Did you watch the celebrity game at all or the Rising Stars challenge? None of those. So I
I watched
watched.
I watched a very small amount of the Rising Stars, but not anything to do with the celebrity game.
Okay, okay. So the celebrity game is just a lot of people. It could be actors, actresses. There was 50 Cent was there, Jennifer Hudson, Lil Wayne, Stephen A. Smith was a coach, Shannon Sharp was a coach. And so I think the main parts that are good with that is like the mic up situations. Oh, the floor that they played on was pretty awesome. It was like moving, parts that was cool. And it's just seeing which, celebrities can ball or not. It's it's usually the NFL players that can really dunk the ball and play. Um
Do you or
Tristan,
do you or
huh?
I count as a celebrity? Like I think you or I could bring a lot to the celebrity game, Ashley.
Yeah, with our pick and roll and with my mid range.
With my floater, we could do a lot to restore the celebrity game.
We couldn't because I think before when Kevin Hart did it, it was pretty funny. I did like when Giannis coached last year. Oh, there was Wisconsin guy. He's a YouTuber. Tristan Jazz, is it? He
I'm
was
not
he
familiar.
Yeah, he was balling in it. But overall, it's just for celebrities and making fun of them,
Yeah,
sometimes.
I never watched the celebrity game, so
Not even with Giannis coaching last year.
I did a real little bit.
Okay, okay.
I
Uh,
wanted to see, I don't know, what he would look like as a coach, I guess. So that was interesting.
yeah. The rising stars, the rookies, and the sophomores. That's always fun to see who's gonna step up. It's just about highlights. I like the format that they use. Um, they're in different squads and they go back and forth, and so I think it's actually more competitive than the All Star game. Actually, I think. But let's cover Saturday because I feel like everybody loves Saturday. Saturday is like the 3-point contest. Let's talk about Dame Dollar.
Yep.
Dame time. He won. He got his groove back. But there was a lot of great shooters there. Jalen Brunson, was on there. Tyrese Maxey. Obviously, Mike Beasley.
Malik
Um,
Beasley.
huh?
Yeah,
Malik
Beasley.
Beasley. I keep getting that confused. It's not Michael Beasley. Michael Beasley used to be on the Bucks. It's Malik Beasley. But
Yep.
yeah, there was a lot of great shooters. Did you like the 3-point contest?
Yeah, I usually watch that one. It was good. Malik did okay. He wasn't.
Yeah,
He had a respectable score at least. He was respectable. Um, but yeah, no, it's always the 3-point contest is always fun.
yeah, Ice
So
Tray,
and
Spider,
yeah,
Cat.
I'm happy for Dame. I hope to God it helps him, start making shots when the games count. Like
Yeah,
I,
exactly.
I don't quite understand it, but I don't know. Just have to hope for the best, I guess. I don't really fully understand how he could be like locked in and focused, during an all-star event, but during real games, it's like, where's that focus then? Like, I don't know.
Maybe he needs to get a trophy after every game and strive for the trophy. Then,
Yeah.
um,
Hopefully, if you're a Bucks fan, you hope that that's, possibly the type of Damian Lillard we could hopefully maybe see in the playoffs if he's going to, actually focus and, step his game up. So
yeah,
hopefully,
Laurie,
hope it
yeah,
helps.
yeah. I feel like this. I think this second half of the Buck season is going to show us what they got. Are they just going to completely fold, or are they going to get better? Because the competition is going to be better. They got
Mm,
one of the hardest schedules, so I think this is good for them. I'm glad they're not
yeah.
going to be facing like easy teams. Like let's let's see what you guys got in the toughest
Mm-hmm.
environment's toughest teams, in my opinion. But
Oh,
oh,
absolutely.
Laurie was in there too. I forgot
Who
to mention
was?
it. Laurie Marketing, yeah,
Oh, he was.
yeah,
Oh, I
he
must
was
have.
in there. Um,
And then
let's
uh, Steph Curry and the WNBA player for the Liberty, Sabrina.
Sabrina Ionescu.
How do you say her last name?
Ionescu. That's
Okay,
the best. That's the best I can do. Um,
I can't quite say her last name. So
yeah,
I got
I
you with NBA player names, and you've got me with WNBA player names.
yeah. I guess that's how
That's
we
one
can
thing
help
that
each other.
the two of them having the shootout that they had. That
I
was cool.
loved it. Yeah, I loved it.
Sabrina was putting some real heat, some real pressure on Curry. He looked pretty nervous there for a while.
He was. I think they both were nervous.
Yeah,
But it was good that she went first to put that pressure and heat on him. And yeah, she got 26, which actually would have went to the final round of the 3-point shootout with the men. So she's one of the best shooters in the WNBA. And so she last year for the WNBA contest, 3-point contest, she had like 36 or something like that, and it like broke a record. I
yeah,
think, yeah, I think they should do that again, this time with maybe her and another WNBA player. Some people say Caitlin Clark, who's in the college Iowa now, and Dame and Curry. That's the whispers that they have, like a 2-on-2 shootout. That would be cool.
yeah.
Um,
What? I didn't watch any of the skills competition. Also, by the way, I like hardly ever watched that one.
yeah, it's a little. It's
Mm,
first of all, how can fans take it seriously if the players don't take it seriously? I feel like
yeah.
the
Oh,
Pacers was the only team that took it seriously because they really wanted to win for Indiana. And the
mm-hmm.
other teams, it was kind of like lazy. And also, it was kind of like they didn't follow the rules. You know how you got to like weave and dribble? They would, it was sloppy. Barnes dribbled it off
What?
his foot, and then
Yeah,
they went in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I saw the clip of Scotty Barnes like mishandling it and like going into the first row of the of the stands. That was bad, but I didn't really watch the skills competition as a whole.
So how can they make it better?
I have no idea.
And
Maybe just get rid of it.
yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but in my group I show a picture of the 2014 versus the 2024. You know how you pass the ball through the circle,
Yeah.
the passing portion. This year, well, actually, it was last year too. It's way bigger. The hole is way bigger. But in the past, in the
Yeah.
past, it was smaller. So it's almost like they made it easier for the players.
Yeah. More impressive when you could do it when you can pass it through the smaller opening.
Right. So, I don't know. You got to get players. I don't know if they should do high school and mix it in like that, or mix college in. Something got to be different.
Yeah.
Because players aren't taking it seriously. I don't even know if players really want to do it. Maybe they get paid to do it. I don't know.
I don't know either, Ashley.
The next one is the NBA dunk contest, and a lot of people were mad at the judges because sometimes they would judge a dunk that wasn't really good, and they would give them high scores. Then the dunks that were good, they gave them low scores.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know how to fix the dunk contest. I really don't.
I was very confused by
I replace the refs, replace the judges as well. I'm glad that Mac won. Mac had the most creative dunk, which was his first dunk when he,
Is that the one where he, like kind of bobbled it and then like went reverse?
Yeah, that's never been done before. That means you really got hang time when you can like do it in the air like that.
I think it was an intentional bobble. Like when he did it,
Yeah, intentional. Yeah.
I didn't. When he did it at first, I thought like maybe it wasn't intentional, but in the replay, it looked like he clearly made the emphasis to make it like an intentional bobble to make the the finish more impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, he's a fun dunker. He's helped. He's helped the dunk contest in a little in a small way, is for sure. For the past 2 years that he's done it,
Exactly.
Brown
Yeah.
dunks were very sad and like weird. I don't know what was going on there. Like it's very.
Yeah, some of his dunks, I just didn't understand it. They were a little lame. Some were confusing. Like he brought somebody out, like a guy.
Yeah.
Was he in a Knicks jersey?
I'm not sure really.
He brought some guy out, and I have no idea what the purpose of his dunk was. And then he brought a glove for his left hand because people are like, he doesn't use his left hand. And I'm like, that's not even the same thing that people are talking about. People are talking about basketball moves, not if you can dunk with your left hand. Come on, dude. But I'm glad that he did it because not a lot of all-stars do it. How do you think they should fix the NBA dunk contest?
Oh boy. Incentivizing it maybe with money or something.
Yeah.
A big step would just be if like more marquee, well-known like star players would do it again. Like if Giannis would try doing it again, or somebody like I don't know, just more athleticism, more more guys who like have recognizable names.
Right.
Less G League. I'm not hating on the G League. I don't have anything against them or anything. Like, I understand it's
Right.
good to have a G League and everything, but for something with the history of, a dunk contest with the NBA, you want to see a more notable, recognizable name player in the dunk
Right.
contest.
Webby did say that he wants to do the 3-point contest and the dunk contest. So that's a marquee name.
Who said that?
Webby.
Oh,
Victor Wembanyama.
ooh, that'd
See,
be
I got that one.
Wembanyama. There you go. No, if he said that, that'd be real good because I think that would help a lot.
Yeah. The problem is, some of the players don't like how it's judged, so
Yeah.
that takes some people out, and also some people the marquee names, they just don't want to lose, and it's like it's not about losing; it's about entertaining the fans. Like it's not about if you win.
Some of it could maybe be like fear of like injury risk if you're trying to do something too crazy.
Yes, injuries as well. Yeah, especially if like you're in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like young and your team's not very good, then it's like it doesn't matter. But like if your team is going in the playoffs later that season, you don't
Yeah.
want to, and that's like Zion. Those guys get injured, and so it's like
Like
people
when
want to see Ja and Zion, but it's
like when Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine were doing it, they weren't necessarily like the biggest star names, but they were recognizable names. Like
right.
People really knew Zach LaVine, people really knew Aaron Gordon's name. Like they weren't like random 12th men on bench type players or G League players, or like they're at least like recognizable.
Also, I think what will help is like creative dunks. Like I feel like we need more creative dunks, more also you got to be excited about your dunk. Like sometimes after they dunk it, they have like a weird look on their face, like they're not even excited about their dunk.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to be excited if you're not excited? Show some swag, show some excitement, some sportsmanship.
A mean mug or two.
And, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like Giannis. Yeah, do something funny, do something creative. Because if you think about it, Aaron Gordon did dunks that never been done before because why? He was creative. He brought out the mascot on the, toy thing spinning around, and he did things that were creative. Like I feel like all the dunks have been done before, but there probably are some dunks if you do some, twist to it, I don't know.
And if Giannis went out there and jumped from the free throw line, I mean that would be something like we haven't seen in a long, long time. So that'd be pretty cool. But I don't think he'll ever do it again because number one, or like he's too good now, and the Bucks are trying to win championships, and he's not trying to get hurt or do something too crazy or
take care of his knees.
Yeah, that too. So. But I agree with what you said about like the emotion aspect, because like I thought that some of the times like when they dunk, it's like they look like they're bored or like they don't want to be there, and it's like if you look bored or like you don't want to be there, that's kind of how Jaylen Brown looked, and I was like, okay, like if you're bored, then I'm bored too. Like if you don't want to be there, then I don't want to watch this. So
yeah.
That the emotion is like a part of it, because if you're just like like you're just out there going through the motions and doing like a whatever dunk, like then it's like, okay, like why did I even bother watch this?
Yeah.
As a fan.
Dwight Howard was good.
Superman.
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah,
He brought out like the 12-foot hoop, like the taller than normal, a normal basket's 10
Yeah.
feet, brought out a 12-foot tall hoop, and then he had the Superman cape. That was cool.
Yeah.
One of my favorite dunks was the Gerald Green cupcake dunk where he
Oh
put the
yeah, blowout. He
and he
was
blew.
good.
So, see, that's a creative. That's a creative.
Exactly. Creative.
That's what the dunk contest is missing. We're missing the creativeness, and
Exactly.
even like to my point about name recognition, like Gerald Green wasn't like an all-star in the NBA. He wasn't like a superstar, but he was a recognizable name that people at least like kind of knew. Like
Right.
he was at least a bench player on the Celtics that kind of played, a good amount. Like he wasn't like a third or fourth string player. Like he was a recognizable name. So
Remember Nate Robinson? He was pretty good.
oh yeah, that
At
was 5 foot like 9 or 5'8" or whatever he was flying through the air. That was awesome.
he was doing great. Who else? I remember JaVale McGee brought out 2 hoops, and then he did this. He had 2 balls, and then he dunked them, stretched out his arms and dunked them in both of the hoops. That was a good one.
What if
Huh?
Wembanyama joins the dunk contest and all he does is just stand under the basket and just like plop the ball in?
He's got to do some creative dunks because sometimes the taller you are, it
Mhm.
doesn't look as great.
What if Yao Ming had done a dunk contest? How weird would that have looked?
Oh my
Looked
goodness.
so weird.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
Like just let your brain like ponder that one, or like just think about that one for a moment, like how strange and like awkward and weird that would look, like Yao Ming in like a dunk contest. It
It
just
doesn't
wouldn't
need to be in a dunk
it
contest.
wouldn't work.
Yeah, it just wouldn't look right. Let's go to the, huh?
Giannis tried his best when he was too young though when he tried his dunk contest the first time.
Yeah, too green because I
See,
think
I think if he would have waited until his third or fourth year, so if he would have just waited 1 or 2 more years, I think he would have put on like a better show, or like he would have known what he
right.
was doing more. He just
Yeah,
was too green between the ears, or whatever they say with that phrase. Like he was too young
too
and
wet.
like he didn't really quite understand, I guess, sort of what to do at a dunk contest totally. That's not to say that he didn't. Obviously, he knew he should dunk the ball, but like I don't think he knew of all the historic
Yeah, yeah,
activity.
yeah.
Like, didn't it seem like he didn't really quite understand it, like, or like the creative side or the history side, but like he was new to the NBA and new to like America, and he just, there was a lot that he didn't like know. So I think if he would have just waited like a year or two, then he would have really been more comfortable, because he didn't seem comfortable when he did it. But it was cool that he tried to, and he brought out the Gnosis, and they it was, you remember he had all those like Greek girls with the palm trees or whatever when he like walked out. You remember that?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was good. Um,
Yeah, we can move on from the dunk contest. I just
yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
reminisce about our guy Giannis. So
He
we
did something with the phone, and one of his dunks, he just wouldn't let it go. He's like, "No, I'm gonna get this dunk."
can't like tried it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
It's
too many times.
all up here, and he tried to dunk it off the high bounce. Like he threw it really high in the air so that the ball would bounce high after it hit the floor, and then he tried to go up real high and get it. If you remember that,
Maybe a little bit. Yeah.
it didn't work out because he
Yeah.
tried 3 times and it didn't work. But we can move on from the dunk contest.
So the All-Star game, a lot of people are talking about it. They had like 46 threes, I think. The highest scoring, All-Star game. They had there's usually a lot of, fouls. There wasn't a lot of fouls this game. A lot of people are like, we gotta make it more competitive. But Dame Time did get that MVP, All-Star MVP. And I thought it was funny that he was getting booed in Indiana, but it's a little get back from, the
It,
Pacers beating us and, you know,
it adds another
Tyrese Halliburton doing this.
it adds another layer to the Bucks Pacers rivalry.
Yes, it does. It does.
It's like so Bucks Pacers is becoming like this weird rivalry.
Yeah, the game ball. That's really funny. And I realized I think now this is just me. At the time I didn't, but I think Giannis has the right ball. I think he has the right ball.
I think so too, probably.
Yeah, I think he just thought it was the game ball, but it wasn't. I think it was the second one. So he really made a big deal out of nothing. But we didn't know that at the
We
time.
can all move on from that. That doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah, that's true. So what did you like about the All-Star game, and what do you think needs to be done to
Uh,
fix it?
what did I like about it? Do I like anything about it?
Hey, if you didn't like anything, just say, what needs to improve. What are the cons?
I like that man, what? Got something nice about it. I can say something nice about it. I liked that 2 Bucks players were starting in the All-Star game, and I've never seen that before in my lifetime. So that was super cool. I don't think that's ever happened for the Bucks. I don't think it has. So that was awesome. I like that. I liked seeing Dame, actually make shots in basketball court. I hope it can help, just like the 3-point contest. I hope it can help get his confidence back, and it can translate into, shooting well in real games. So that was good. It was cool to see. Glad a Bucks player got the All-Star Game MVP for the second time in the last 3 years, going back to Giannis getting the All-Star MVP in 2021. And if we want to look at it this way, the last time a Bucks player won the All-Star Game MVP, the Bucks won a championship in that very same season. So maybe that, means something again this year, that because Dame won the All-Star Game MVP, maybe we can win another championship the same way that it all went down in 2021 with Giannis winning the All-Star Game MVP that year, and then us winning the championship in July, later that year. So, maybe if you believe in silly things like that, it can help.
Hey, you never know.
What did I not like about it? Oh boy, just
a lot.
The lack of effort, the lack of intensity, the lack of defense. The greatest defensive play of the game was Stephen Curry getting a block.
Oh yeah, I saw that. He was excited.
I mean, that's the absolute last thing I would expect to see in an All-Star game is Stephen Curry rising up and getting a block. So, I mean, that was pretty cool. I can say that was a positive or a cool thing to see, but because it was just so like out of left field that you wouldn't have expected to see. But I don't know, just the overall effort and intensity is just so bad, and it's just there's so many leak out like transition like layups and dunks, and it's just like nobody even crossed half court, like nobody gets back in transition at all. Everybody's just standing there, and it's like, oh my god, can you at least like pretend to hustle back? Pretend to like there's no contests on 3-point shots. It's just like it's you're doing the 3-point shootout all over again with nobody like defending anybody. It's bad. Like it's bad. I don't really know why. I'll say another positive thing. I do like that they went back to the East versus West, old school format, because that's, a traditional thing that I like. And the whole like picking teams thing was kind of cool for maybe the first year or the second year, but it started getting a little like cringy in my opinion, just kind of like the, picking players, and then certain people would get picked last, or it would be like, whoever player is like, oh, like Giannis is like tampering, or he's like recruiting Dame because he picked him first. And it's
I
like,
think that's why they stopped. Probably because of that whole Dame situation.
like, do you think like did they just do that just because like Giannis? I don't really think he was tampering or whatever. Like people just, it's just part of the thing that he, like, that's how they make the format. So Giannis used the format to use the way he wanted it to use. I mean, why, I don't really understand why people got mad at Giannis for picking Dame first. It's like, well, that's the format that they created. So you can't blame Giannis for using the format that they created. If you want to blame somebody, be mad at the people who made the format. What it is, Giannis didn't make the format. He's just going along with the rules. So I didn't really quite understand that. So that's just kind of weird. So I guess I'm glad that they just got rid of like the whole picking teams thing, because I always thought it was like a little weird. And then it's weird when like it just leads to too many weird assumptions, and weird assumptions, weird conclusions with picking teams, or it's like, oh, like Giannis didn't pick his teammate Drew Holiday. Does that mean that they hate each other? Did they not get along? Or, oh, like Giannis picked this person, so that means he's going to be a future Buck. And it's just like, okay, like, can all the, like, the assumptions that went along with it were just annoying and just kind of tiresome. Or like, oh, why did like they pick this player last? Or like, oh, that means like the all-stars like hate this player or hate like the team that they play for or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all the like assumptions that go along with it, and like it just makes it cringy and kind of annoying. So I'm glad that they got rid of the whole picking teams thing. It was cool, like maybe the first year because it was something different, but after that it just kind of got annoying a bit in my opinion. So I'm like, okay, I'm glad just going away with that. So I liked the old format. I didn't mind the jerseys. I know you and I kind of talked about it like a while back or something, or you might have posted it in the, our group page on Facebook about like the jerseys, but I thought they were decent. The jerseys were solid in my opinion. They weren't anything, too crazy special, but I didn't think they were horrible either. They were solid. I liked them. The warm-ups, I'll say this, the warm-up shirts that the players were wearing before the All-Star game, I hated those. I thought they looked really weird. I actually, for a while during the game, I was like, I was thinking, what did those the All-Star warm-ups shirts remind me of? And I saw it on Twitter during the game. It was like somebody made a meme of like one of the All-Star players wearing the All-Star warm-up jerseys, and they were like standing behind a bowling alley counter, and they were like, oh, like what size bowling shoes do you need? Do you need bumpers? Because it was like the All-Star warm-ups looked like something you'd wear at a bowling alley, like a bowling alley employee. Like I just thought it was weird. It looked funny. They should have been a lot better. It was weird how one side was red and one side was blue. It's like, but shouldn't all be blue?
Maybe USA. I don't know. Maybe they went for the USA flag look. I don't know.
But based on like the East wore blue and the West wore red jerseys for the game. So the warm-ups should have, in theory, been all blue for the East and all blue and all red for the West, because it should have matched the jersey underneath. So it was weird how they like blended them. I don't know. I didn't like that. I thought the warm-ups were weird and just tacky looking and bad. They looked like bowling alley employees. It looked like Giannis was getting ready for a night shift at the bowling alley. It just was silly.
So I'm not really sure like how they pick the warm-ups. I don't know if like everybody wears the same color warm-ups or what. I can't remember.
I'll also say I don't know what years they did this for in like the mid 2000s, where like the players in the All-Star game wore their actual jerseys for the team that they played for. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, that's cool.
They should maybe consider going back to that. That was kind of neat.
Yeah.
And it's like no one really passes in an All-Star game anyways, so who cares?
Yeah, they should do that. Wear their own jerseys, or maybe like put nicknames on them, like Instead of Giannis Antetokounmpo on the back, put Greek Freak on the back or something like that.
I would disagree with the nicknames one. I just would want it to be their normal names. But
Well, I mean, you don't have to do it every year. Just switch it
yeah,
up. You
I
could
guess
do it just one time.
they should definitely do a throwback where like they wore like their own team jerseys the way they used to. Like Kobe Bryant was wearing like his Lakers jersey in an All-Star game. Allen Iverson was wearing his Sixer jersey in an All-Star game. Kevin Garnett was wearing his Timberwolves jersey in an All-Star game. That was cool, I thought. Like that was neat. Or Tim Duncan in a Spurs jersey in an All-Star game. That was cool. They should consider doing that again.
I was reading the ES article, and they were talking about suggestions, and one of the suggestions for fixing the All-Star game was if you lose, the losing team has to fly commercial instead of getting first class back to wherever they're going.
Boy,
If you gotta go back commercial, so
would
that can be more competitive.
would it just be a one-time thing, or would it be they have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go for the rest of the year?
Oh, not the rest of the year.
Oh,
Just throw the
well,
way back.
I don't think anybody would change just because of having it to fly commercial just once. I don't
I
know.
know some of the suggestions weren't serious, I don't
I
think.
don't know if anything can really be done about it. Maybe just get rid of it altogether. I don't know.
What about go back to a certain score?
I mean, that was better when they had the target score. That was
Yeah.
better. I don't know why they changed that part of it this year. I don't understand why they went back to the four quarters thing, like with no target score. I don't understand why it changed.
Yeah, because it seemed like the first year that they did it was more competitive.
It seemed like the last few years that they've had it, because haven't they had the target score ending for like the last 3 years? I want to say.
Did they do it because of Kobe Bryant's death?
Yeah, I think that's when it
Yeah.
started, didn't it? But it continued. Because they did it the last couple of years too. I think.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
I don't know why that part changed about it. That made things a little better when they were doing it that way. I don't know. Maybe just make it like money orientated or something. But then
yeah, like
players make so much money, it doesn't really matter.
yeah, it seemed like they should have like a jackpot money goes to the winner because it seems like when they did the play-in tournament, some
Yeah.
games were more competitive because they knew they had to win it and they knew, hey, at the end of the day, you get a banner or trophy or some money. So I'm not sure how to fix it. It talks about USA versus World. I think that would be cool.
Maybe just like an added bonus on your contract. Like every all-star player on the winning team gets an extra $1 million added to their contract at the end of the year. That would do something, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
But who would sponsor that money? Like where's that money coming from? Because then owners
Uh,
would add or something.
they rich. All I know, the NBA be making that moolah, that moolah. One of the other suggestions was something about there's 5 players and you rotate them. If you lose, then you're off the court. Um, you know,
I saw a crazy suggestion that said that all the players should have to wear shock collars. And if your heart rate gets under a certain rate during the game, you would get shocked.
oh, that's so bad. That's so
Oh,
bad.
and that's crazy.
Players would not do that at all. They're like, I ain't putting that on my neck. I ain't no animal.
It was funny though. It's funny that somebody.
That is funny. Someone
I
like
don't
the
know.
article. Huh?
I don't know what can be done. Ashley.
The article said that you gotta, if you're an all-star, you gotta pay and put some money in a jackpot, and then winner takes all. So they're like, if it's your money that you're putting up for grabs, you'll play more because it's coming out of your paycheck.
That might be a good suggestion, actually.
Yeah.
That might help. Like every single player has to put in $5,000 or something.
Yeah, because you are rich. I mean, you're an all-star. Like,
but the winning team would have to split up all the money, though.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but it might help.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. It's just something we have to live with, I guess. The All-Star game just not being very good. It is what it is, I think.
Yeah. Some people say king of the court, like do 101s, but some people are like they don't want to risk injury or be embarrassed. Because I think there are some players that are really good 101 scorers, and it's like, okay, if it's Luka versus KD, okay, you got a certain amount of time to score on each other. Whoever scores, stays, and then you rotate it. I don't know.
It just is what it is, Ashley.
You got to do something.
We'll see. We'll see if anything changes. I don't know.
All I know is Milwaukee, Adam Silver, please get Milwaukee into the All-Star weekend.
Preach.
I mean, we deserve it. We haven't had one. I want to go to one. If you can have it in Indiana. Oh, Reggie Miller dissed Milwaukee. Yep. He was like,
I'm gonna bring that up. And Draymond too, I think.
Draymond Green was talking bad about Indiana, and then Reggie Miller had the nerve to turn it back and say, "Oh, Draymond, if you think Indiana's bad, wait till you go to Milwaukee." Like, why are you dissing another small market team? We should be sticking together, Reggie Miller. Why would you diss us like that? It's like, Miller, and you just got an extinction. Like, I don't even like you talking, but I don't even like his commentating, really. Like, I don't know what he provides. But why would you diss another small market team? I don't understand that. And it's like, I feel like we deserve it. I feel like we do have a lot of great history for Milwaukee. So it's like, and it's like we don't get Christmas games no more. And it's like, what do you have against us? What do you have against us? I'm not saying do it every year, but we deserve more Christmas games, and we deserve an all-star weekend. We deserve it.
The fact that Giannis stayed here and won a championship, I think they still can't get over it, honestly. I think there's a lot of people that are just bitter about that and sad, but it's kind of fun. I enjoy the fact that it made them sad, so it's kind of. But you are right, Ashley. It's pretty ridiculous. I mean, the Fiserv Forum has been around for several years now, and you just don't want to make use of this amazing new venue. Then, well, that's on you. Then that's your fault. That's your mistake.
Some people say we need more hotels or something. I don't know.
It's been since 1977, I believe, since Milwaukee has hosted an All-Star game. So it's a long time. We're due. We're due.
Yeah, we're due. We're recent champions. We have an All-Star who's one of the faces of the league, MVP, and now we have Dame. If you notice, Dame's not even getting the calls that he usually got when he was with the Blazers. It's like they're we don't like you anymore.
No Bucks player gets calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, Giannis had a game. So Heat was 0 free throw attempts recently. So that was a joke.
Yeah, you were mad at that, and
it was Ashley Moyer Gleich again that was on that crew. She's bringing shame to your name, Ashley.
Replace the refs with robots.
Come on, Ashley. You can't give my fellow friend Ashley a bad name. You can't ruin the name.
Ashley's. That's the best name. One of the best.
for sure.
names ever.
She's
And
she's not doing justice to the name. She's ruining it.
yeah,
She's ruining it.
yeah.
Hopefully Adam Silver doesn't hear this and fine us both or something.
No, we're just speaking our mind. This is free speech. Free speech.
Okay. I want to
Look,
get
Adam Silver, you're doing a good job. I'm just saying, be equal.
I don't want to get fined by the NBA. They're gonna send me a fine in the mail or something.
No, I don't want to get fined either. We said our piece. We said our piece.
Yeah.
We need one.
Well, hopefully, hope for good things for the Bucks in the second half.
Yes.
Well, of the coming out of the All-Star break, and hope for good things for the Bucks. And thanks for having me on the show.
Yes.
I'm getting a little hungry, so I think it might be supper time.
Yes. It's that supper time, Dame time. But yes, thank you for.
It's Dame time, but it's supper time. Or maybe I'll watch Dame highlights while I eat supper, so it could be both.
Hey, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Cal, for joining me. Everybody stay balling. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button because more Bucks videos are on the way. More movie reviews are on the way. Trust me, you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss. Because all I do is switch. All I do is switch. Hey.
You don't want to miss an Ashley swish.
No, you don't. You don't. There's levels to this.
There's levels to this. Show you how to make a swish.
Yeah, I can dish.
And how to dish as well. All right, Ashley, take care.
All right, peace.
Peace. Go Bucks, go.